Question from shareholder: why are we so below IPO price, and when do we expect to come back to the IPO price? So I can't answer the second part of the question because I'll probably go to jail, and I need to run the company and people depend on me every day, so I will not answer that second part. But I will say, as the larger shareholder, I hope we'll get back soon. That's pretty much all I can say, because I can't make any forward-looking statements with regards to that, because we have no impact on share price other than our performance, and everything that I've been able to predict about the share market in Australia has not come true to date. So from that standpoint, I guess I'll talk about why are we so below the IPO price. And I haven't really talked about this so much, but I think I should, because it's very relevant. And I don't mean to hurt any feelings in this, but this is business, I guess, and this is kind of how it is in the stock market and in that world. It's very serious. We had a lot of bad luck last year. We kind of were around the wrong people. We wanted to take the company public in a time where things are rough in Australia, so we went out on a road show in 2017, the beginning of 2017, to find a broker, and everyone looked like they had lost a relative, and they were really sad, and just, I guess, small caps weren't performing well. And come to think of it, every time I go to Australia, that's all I hear. Small caps aren't doing well. Small caps aren't doing well. When have they done well? I'm just asking shareholders to now send me an answer to that, because that's all I've been hearing for the last 2-3 years is they've just not done well. They've been, as they say, I don't know, they've just under expectations and things like that and stuff I shouldn't probably say on camera. But I would say that we were around the wrong people that advised us, or a little predatory, and I'm not naming anyone, and what's done is done, and it's made us stronger, and I've learned a lot from it. In fact, we took money from the wrong people. For one specific institution, who I'm not going to name, is responsible for selling us down since the IPO nearly almost every day. So they told us that they wouldn't sell us when they committed, they wanted a big piece of the IPO. I don't know if you guys remember, but we initially set out to raise $4 million on our initial prospectus, and the demand was overwhelming. We ended up with $19 million in demand, and so we filed a supplemental prospectus, or a replacement prospectus as they call, and we ended up taking $10 million. This institution told us that, hey, if you take any more than $10 million, we're going to be out. We're not going to participate in the IPO, and in addition to that, we're going to influence others to not participate in the IPO as well. So that's a pretty big issue for us, and we did not want any of that to happen. We wanted to finish this thing. 10 million was better than 4. We're excited. We probably, in hindsight, should have taken 19, and it would have been less dilution at that point. And so we should have known from that the signs were, it was a red flag. The signs were clear that this institution is probably not ideal for us. And they told us that they'd wait at least a year to sell anything. So the IPO happened. It was a bit delayed. And we noticed that on IPO, we opened at 30 cents, and they sold a lot. They sold, I believe it was like 500,000 shares or something like that on the first day. And we asked them and say, hey, why are you selling? You told us you wouldn't sell. You sold us down from 30 cents to 24. What is going on? And mind you, there was not much volume, so every share that was sold was impacting the share price significantly. And they told us, they said, you know what? Our mandates have changed. We now have to sell everything in that we're holding of yours. We have to sell everything, every share. And we said, you know what? They are a significant holder. How can you change your mandate within just a month or two of participating in the IPO? It makes no sense. And so essentially they said we have to sell everything. And so they're selling it on market every single possible chance they had. They kept putting up these sell orders for 500,000 shares, kept scaring away the market. People were wondering why there's endless sell orders for 500,000 shares were coming from. And we asked, hey, why is your mandate changed? They said, you're under 1% of our portfolio size. We have to get rid of all the shares, and we have to sell it on market. So I said, you know what, that's not good. Have our broker find a buyer off market and get rid of it. Just take it out off market. They said we want a 20% premium. I was really predatory, and it was sad because they were selling it for way less than market price on market, and we couldn't find a buyer who would pay a 20% premium because the share price continued to slip. So because the share price continued to slip, we weren't able to raise the $4 million that we were trying to raise in April. of last year, which was for the AdSale acquisition. We committed to buy this company. We needed $4 million in cash to deal with their liabilities, and we ended up essentially just raising $2 million. We put out an SPP. The SPP failed because the share price continued to go down because of their selling, and we couldn't raise any more money. And then we ended up with a new broker in the summer. They were going to take us on a tour. The tour got delayed. They ended up taking on a roadshow last week of August. It was reporting season. Nobody would see us. Share price kept going down. We couldn't raise any money, and then we ended up in a situation where November came. We needed cash. We couldn't hit the objectives that we needed to hit. We committed to the market that we were going to generate a specific amount of revenue for the year. And we couldn't do it because we just didn't have the cash to deploy to activate publishers. Plain and simple. That's what it was, because of the share price falling. Now, this institution continued to sell. And we told them, hey, you're losing all of the money of your investors. You should just take an off-market deal and just sell it. They said, no, we're going to sell it on market. It was a really weird situation. Eventually, we took a convertible note facility. We didn't have a choice. We took that. Share price continued to drop. We had to announce that, hey, we're not going to hit our goals in December. Share price fell even more. These guys sold into that news as well, and then they were out by January. By the time they got out, it was the day that they got out, and we put out a great announcement in January. It was January 22nd and 23rd. That's when the share price took off because they were gone. All the shares were out in the public, in the float, and it was in retail's hands, and we learned a lesson. It's, hey, institutions come at us every day. Hey, we want to buy placement. We want to do this, we want to do that at a discount, whatever. And I just don't even reply because I'm not giving discounts. Why should we give discounts? We've done so much work. We've done so much great. We've had great traction. We've done, we've been able to move mountains this year, and it's not worth a discount. I'm not doing it. If they want to participate, and we don't have any plans of raising money anytime soon. Again, that's something that people are asking. We just don't have any plans to raise money anytime soon. But if we eventually do, I'm going to ask for a premium because I feel like this is a great company. The volume we have is much better than most companies that we've seen in our space on the ASX, and it's going to go somewhere. We have great plans this year. Where we are right now is going to change, I believe, because we've got a lot of good stuff happening, and the revenue is going to continue to grow from our perspective. Operations are improving, operating expenses are improving, balance sheets improving, everything's getting better. So from that standpoint, we feel like we're in a much better place. So to answer your question, the reality of it was the absence of capital for us last year, and that was a snowball effect because the share price kept tumbling because this one institution kept selling. And if you look back, I think we did the math. I think it was like 50 million shares or so traded between like June until like January, like total, like that whole time. There's no volume, So the reality of it was we didn't have any volume and people were selling. And I don't blame the institution for trying to, they want to get out, they should be able to get out, but we didn't have the volume. So, at the end of the day, it was not the perfect picture. So to answer your question, why did the IPO price slide? It was because we didn't have any volume and we had a big seller that just continued to sell, that wouldn't take a deal off market. We would never have taken their money if they would have, if we would have known that they were going to do what they did. So that's the reality of it. So we were just around a bunch of people that we shouldn't have been around and took money from people because, I think that the broker had a deal with this institution to do other financings. And so they told us that, hey, you have to do a deal with these guys. And they almost, I think at one point told us that if you don't do a deal with these guys, we're out as your broker. And then the whole raise kind of goes away. So it was just kind of a really bad situation. We were kind of strong-armed, where we were so far into the process and spent millions of dollars, and it was just bad luck. So last year's done. Let's not talk about that anymore. This year's a new year, and I want to be able to achieve what we said we'd do last year. Hey, maybe that's something that we can do soon. I'm not going to commit to that this year because no more guidance for us. I think that the market doesn't have the faith in commitments like that long term for us. But as management, management is committed to do this in smaller phases to regain the faith of the market. So maybe we'll do it in smaller increments? Can we do it on a monthly basis? So why are we out talking so much in the market? One, we want to keep the market up to date. We didn't do it last year because these guys told me not to. They said you shouldn't put out announcements more than once a month. I think the style of communication is too old. It's too old school. Maybe it works for a mining company that doesn't really have news, but we're a dynamic tech company. We move stuff every day. There's stuff happening every day, so we should keep the market up to date. What we've also found is that tech companies that don't release news often, guess what? They might go up, but guess what? If they don't release news, people think things are happening that are not good, and so maybe you start selling them down. So I think news flow is important for a tech company, specifically on the ASX, from that standpoint. So we're in a much better place. Super excited. I haven't seen results like this for a long time. It's really the cash that's helped us a lot. Convertible notes or not, it's changed the trajectory of the business. I think we're gonna have a very different year this year. We're really proud of that. We have a very strong team. So, essentially just a recap. Once we had enough sufficient capital this year, we're able to, achieve incredible goals and beat them. We didn't have the goals that we, for the revenue that we achieved in April. Those weren't part of our goals. We've blown out those goals. Is it a turnaround story? I don't know. It's a tech company, essentially. Do we ever want to say we're a turnaround? Maybe the stock is turning around, the share price is turning around, but essentially we're a tech company. We're in growth mode, but we're doing it responsibly, and our fiscal responsibility is number one for us right now. So companies, are they talking in the ad tech space that are where we are right now, are they talking about profitability so much? They're probably not. That's not something that is so important to them here in the US, but for us it is. It's number one. It's the number one priority for us. It's because we want to be fiscally responsible, because we want to be able to self-sustain. We want to be able to give our shareholders back what they put in. So, personally, I know that a lot of people have put in, a lot of support at the IPO, and there's a lot of people holding still, and it's my job to really help them become whole, and that's why I'm here, essentially. So I think this year is going to be great for us. This is what we're going to do. We're going to crush this year. I'm very, very proud of the business and excited. Feel free to email me at any time, ted@engagebdr.com, or send me an email at info@en1.com. I look forward to your emails. Thank you.